What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So as you guys can see by the title, we have some new wheels for both cars. Technically new wheels for this car, new wheels for the F32, um, or technically not. We are actually going to be putting on the TEs on this car today, and we're also going to be putting on the new wheels on the F32. Now the F32 actually ended up going a size up, so now I'm going to be running a 19s. And I got to be honest, I'm a little scared and worried about the fronts that they're not going to fit. So there is only one way to find out: put them on, see how it sits, and then see if we have to do any adjustments. The specs are actually the same width and offset. So they're 9.5 plus 22, but they are 19s, and I'm still running a 265/35. So it's going to it's going to lose a little bit of clearance, but I think it's still going to work. It's still going to be low enough, or I should say high enough, to where it's not going to cause me any issues, or at least that's what I'm hoping. But there's only one way to find out. But anyways, let me go ahead and show you guys the new wheels. Also, I do have these available for sale. So it's hoodie season, and I ended up designing a shirt with this logo first. So like I was saying, I ended up designing this logo for a t-shirt, and then I decided to put it on hoodies. I do have some other t-shirts available for sale if you guys are interested in grabbing a, a set or just one. The t-shirts are $20 plus shipping, and then the hoodies are $45 plus shipping. And then if you do a hoodie and a t-shirt, then I can do 60 for both plus shipping. So let me know. Hit me up on Instagram if you guys are interested in ordering one. If you don't have Instagram, then just drop me a comment on here, and I'll reach out to you, and then we can contact by email, and then that way I can get it sent out to you. So, anyways, back to the wheels. Oh, I almost forgot. So, for these hoodies, if you don't want them to shrink, I would recommend that you air dry it. If you're okay with it shrinking a little bit, I would recommend drying it in medium heat and then just drying it for about 20 minutes and then letting it air dry the rest, because it will shrink. Obviously, like any other hoodie, they will shrink a little bit. A lot of my hoodies that I buy from brand clothing, like brand name clothing, they end up shrinking anyways. So just be cautious, be mindful. It's the same like any other brand that you have. Um, Dry it all the way if you want it to shrink quite a bit, or maybe just dry for about 20 minutes, 10, 20 minutes, and then let it air dry for the rest, or just let it air dry completely. In my opinion, I would recommend air drying it all the way. So, yeah. Anyways, back to the wheels. I just need one night where it just feels right. The stars all align. We do what we like. I just need one night where it just feels right. The stars all align. I just need one night. I just need one night where it just feels right. The stars all align. We do what we like. I just need one night where it just feels right. The stars all align. I just need one night. I just need. All right, so as you guys can see, I went with another set of JDM wheels because why not? So these are, like I said, 19 by 9.5 plus 22, and the rears, look how concave they are. And surprisingly, these are only 10.5 plus 34. So if I ever decide to sell them, any F80 or F82 people can actually run these. Tire sizes in the back are 295, 30, and I was actually thinking about running a 35 sidewall, but I was scared that it was going to look a little bit too chunky compared to the front. But if you look at my setup right now, it's a 275 35 and a 285 35. But with those being 275s, it obviously it's going to naturally look taller than what the 265s do. And if I would have went with a 285 35, then these would definitely look chunkier, because if you look at these right now, they look to be about the same thickness, so it works out. And obviously, another benefit is that if it does happen to have a little bit of gap in the back, I can lower it. It will even out the car or keep the car leveled, because it'll remove that natural rake that BMWs have. So some people like it. I don't mind it at all. But on that car, the back actually sits a little bit lower. So if you look at it from like a side profile, the car looks like this instead of looking like this, kind of how mine does. So that's another benefit of me running a skinnier sidewall in the back. That way I could lower it and keep it more leveled. So we're gonna throw the TEs on here, and then we're gonna throw the Advents, which I don't think I've said it, but these are the Advent GT Beyond. Yeah, looks pretty good. I know a lot of you guys are gonna like the 18s more, but it's good. It's a good change. I do have some other things coming up for the car that's gonna change the look a little bit. Obviously, not a lot. If anything, I'll go ahead and fill you guys in. I'm taking the wing off and putting on the spoiler. Obviously, I'm not gonna do a permanent fix on the trunk where I get the trunk repaired and not run the wing at all. So for the time being, I think I'm just gonna go with a spoiler in the back. Actually, not bad. These are a little bit less aggressive than the TEs, but I do have a bigger spacer that I'm gonna be running to get that flush fitment that I want. So as you guys can see, it is getting dark. So I'm gonna hurry up and get the other wheels on the other side. And then that way so I can throw on the TEs on the E46. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I'll fill you guys in just a little bit. A few days since I actually started this video, and I just wanted to give you guys an update. There's some good and some bad, but before I get into that, let me go ahead and show you guys the wheels. All right, guys. So to start off with the E46, I love the way that the T's look on the car with the silver and the white. So I'm really happy about the outcome on this. There is some final, well, small tweaks that I got to do to get the fitment the way I like it. I might end up actually lowering the front a little bit and cambering the front wheels just a tad, just because the 275 does poke out a little bit more than what I had on there, which was a 265. Other than that, I mean, I'm pretty happy with the results. Now on to the F32. This was a issue that I was concerned about when I went with 19s. I wanted to try 19s, and plus, like I said, I really like these wheels, and I've always wanted to say when I first saw that they came out, just because I love how concave they are in the back. I mean, just look at that. That looks really good. So the issue is the car is too low in the front, so I'm rubbing in the front. I mean, I can drive it straight, but then when it comes to turning, that's where the issue comes in. So it's hitting the fender liner, and it's also hitting the backside of the fender, or the front. Technically, yeah, the front side, backside. I don't know. It's I'll show you guys. So it hits here, which my 18s did, and that's not that big of a deal because it was rubbing a little bit. But also, I've noticed that it tends to hit over here, which that might be a problem. And then also, if you guys can see how close this is to the tire, and I had a 245, and I'm pretty sure I could have drove around like that. But then the issue was going to be where the front was going to be stretched. There was just no way for me to run a stretched tire in the back. I mean, I could, but because of the offsets, I just wasn't going to be able to push the wheels back far enough to where I would like the fitment. So if I ran the stretch tire, it was going to look weird because it was going to be, I do have to push it out. I have to go out like a with like another 10 mil, and then that way it'll be almost a near flush fitment. But like I said, with the stretch tires, I wasn't gonna be a big fan on it. So I try to do a 295, like a just a flat sidewall, and then same thing with the front, which I've seen plenty of M cars run the 265, and I've seen 290 275s on a 19, but they do sit higher. So that's the only thing. I mean, I can raise it up. Well, that's kind of where I'm getting to. If I could raise it up, I wouldn't have those issues. Like I should be okay. But if you guys remember on my Instagram, if you guys follow me, I ended up posting that I had an issue with this coilover on this side where I wasn't able to adjust it any higher. So I'm gonna give it one more shot, see if I can raise it, and if I can't, then I might try to talk to KW, see if they can send me another replacement part. And I would have to remove the coilover and take it apart and whatnot. And obviously, at that point, we're gonna have to do an alignment. Or my other option is just try to find somebody to trade me for some 18s again. That way, I can leave my ride height the way it was because I did love it with the TEs. The setup was near perfect for me. So despite being a little bit low, but I could live with it. So those are my two options. If anybody might be interested in buying these, shoot me a message. We'll talk pricing. I'm in North Carolina, in case you guys aren't aware yet. But the specs are 19 by 10 and a half plus 34, and the fronts are 19 by 9 and a half plus 22. So this is a perfect F80, F82 spec, where you don't have to run any spacers. Obviously, my back end of the car is actually more aggressive than an M4, so I have to run spacers, and that's kind of where the issue falls in about the fitment with the tires and whatnot. So I do want to keep it with the flat sidewall. I don't want to stretch it just because I don't feel like this design of wheel should have a stretch tire at, like, I mean, I could run a mild stretch, but like I said, the back was the concern, so I wasn't going to be happy with the stretch tire in the front and a flat sidewall in the back. But once I dial in the fitment in the back, I think it would look really good. And another thing, I'm not sure if I'm a fan of the wing with 19s. I loved it with the 18s, so that's why I went ahead and ordered a different spoiler that I'm going to be running without the wing. So if I'm running 19s, then I can just run the spoiler. Then if I ever want to throw on the 18s again, I can throw the wing back on. So there's going to be a method that I'm going to be showing you guys once I'm done with getting the fitment dialed in or whatever my wheel situation may happen to be. But other than that, I mean, I do like the change. I think the 19s do fit the car as well, but I know a lot of people love the 18s. Personally, I used to think the 18s look too small on the F chassis cars, but over time, I realized that the 18s do look good, especially if you're running the right size tire and you have the right ride height. Like if you're low, you can pull off 18s really well. If you sit high, the 18s do tend to look a little bit small, and then that's why a lot of people end up going with 19s. But yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Next video, I'll give you guys an update on the fitment. Hopefully, I'll have it dialed in. I'll give you guys a follow up on that, and also I have the spoiler that I'm going to be doing for the next video, and something for the engine bay, which a lot of you B58 guys might like. So stay tuned, and if you haven't done so, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.